All right, we're back. You're short-winded today.
We like to have fun around here.
We're going to talk over each other, I feel like, a lot today.
Or just not at all.
Yeah, that's the end of the podcast, guys. We're sorry.
You're just going to look at me, and I'm just going to stare aimlessly into the void.
So I see you have some water on the table.
I do. I see you have some water on the table as well. Your water seems bigger than my water.
I mean, it usually is. I am Mexican, and you are,
I'm
white.
very white. I'm white.
Any thoughts about this blue water at all?
I feel like you're drinking Ciroc vodka.
Do you look at this bottle and would you ever want to dive face first into a big pool of water with said Saratoga water?
No, the bottles honestly turn me off. Like if I see like a bottle like that, I'm like, now we're just getting ridiculous here. Hey, like Coach. A Voss water bottle or something like that. Oh, what the shit?
Yo, what are we?
What just happened? Wait. No. You're not opening bananas in my shed room.
Hey, Coach, text your wife back real quick.
What is going on here?
Too much. Too much.
What world do we live in? I actually just want to see you pick the ice up again with your little hand.
You ready?
What are we doing?
You have to dunk it.
What are we dunking?
You're up.
No.
That's how it goes. We have to get our detox. It's your turn.
I'm a clean man.
You got to do it.
What just happened? Am I being trolled here? Like, where's the... I see that camera for the podcast. Where's the camera with the people running out here saying I just got punked?
I forgot that I have not been talking into the microphone, but you got to do it. This is the only.
What are we doing? What is the purpose of this?
It's I don't know, but I've seen it. It's how every entrepreneur, 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneur starts their day. Did you do your morning detox? Did you read your pages? Did you sit out on your balcony?
No.
Okay, well, then do your ice face bath, and then we get started. Here's where the day starts.
All right, I'll do this. That's nice and refreshing. I feel invigorated.
See, everybody talks this game. Everybody talks about it, but nobody actually want to do it. Look at us. Look at me.
But what I'm looking at is the ice all over my fucking room, and how you're just throwing it on the. Like we're just acting like there's not a giant block of ice on the floor that's gonna melt, and
you're leaving here anyways. Who cares?
I'm gonna have to clean up. Like, yeah, I'm still trying to sell this house. What?
I can't believe you didn't dunk the face in the ice.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not.
You have to.
No, peer pressure is not a thing for me.
Okay, well then you got to rub the banana peel on your face. There's one or the other.
No, I'm not fucking with the
Well, I know. I brought the bananas in your house.
Why'd you bring the bananas in my house?
Your wife said, do not bring those.
Did she say that?
She said, do not bring those.
Yeah, I'm looking at those with a lot of fear. Like, I'm like you're half a step from getting slapped. No. There's nothing I hate more in life than a banana, the smell of a banana.
It's the smell.
Oh, the smell, the taste. I hate bananas.
All right, I'm going to clean up this ice, but
I would appreciate it if you did.
So this is the whole thing.
But you didn't clean up the ice. You just put it on the floor.
We're going to get there eventually.
That's not cleaning it up.
I need to tell you what the context is of all of this.
Jesus Christ. What? Holy hell.
All right.
Cut. What? I can't wait for, one, my room to be cleaned, and then two, I will actually have you explain this, because this came out of nowhere. Well, you could probably pull them up online and even show them on the podcast.
All right, Coach, watch this. This is what you need, the motivation for your life. I feel like this needs sound. Monday morning, you have to get out on the balcony, banana peel to the face, fruit bowl with ice, little ice bath, Saratoga water, get the daily fit on by your assistant. You can use your wife, that's fine.
I'm doing it all wrong.
You had it wrong. This guy's got a G-Wagon. What kind of wagon you got?
A station wagon.
All right, enough fun. Let's get into this. One of the things,
I don't even know if I can after that.
that was a hot start.
Derailed me.
That was a hot start.
Yeah, I was in MMA mode. Now I don't have any idea what mode I'm in.
I just want to watch large black men sprint now.
Done.
He kind of looks sick sprinting. I'm gonna be honest. Everyone's hating on this guy. I think it's really cool. He's got a good story. He's a personal trainer. He just said, hey, look, I was working at LA Fitness a few years ago. I was making $5,000 a month. Then I realized the internet's a great place. If I upload content every day, get more viewers, more attention. Then he goes, then I started going, let's do online training instead of in person so I can be everywhere at once. Now he's making tons of money and everyone wants to make fun of him for these videos, but everyone's talking about it.
Man, you know that there are, I mean, this is hot take.
Okay.
There are some successful people that don't ice bath.
Oh, I know.
And who don't go on the balcony and sun their balls.
Most don't. But what I'm saying is this guy knows how to get people talking.
I know.
He does. So he does the videos. It's like 7:01 a.m. It just like 7:01, 7:02, 7:03. And it just like fast forwards the video. And everyone's making fun of him because he went and jumped into a pool and it's showing him jumping in. And the time switched from 7:36 to 7:40. I'm like, he's been in the air for 4 minutes. But can't hate on a dude that dresses so clean. He's living the life we all want. So why are we hating on him?
I'm not hating on anyone.
I seen you hating on. I saw the look on your face.
I'm just confused as to why there's a ice pool in my podcast room still.
The turn upside down.
I'm
was
just
a great
confused.
part.
Yeah, I'm just still confused. Man, all right, before we talk about this week's podcast, we got to talk about last week's podcast.
Okay.
That Europe show was an abomination. I got everything. So, Guram Kutsatsaladze.
What happened?
Oh my gosh. Like, I wasn't, you shit on Fernandez a bit, and I wasn't shitty on Fernandez. I just was high on Guram.
I don't think he's good though. I still don't think he's good.
I don't think he's bad. I think he's good, and I think he's fine. But I thought Guram at range and was gonna. This dude, you could see man, everything that Guram threw. First of all, Guram was just trying to like spam left middle kicks, and Fernandez would like see it a mile away. It was like, dude, he just picked him apart. It was insane. Guram just fell from grace, and maybe he didn't. Maybe we
pumped him up because of the one fight,
because of the Gamrot fight and because of the Demir fight, because of those two fights, and maybe he just was never as good as we thought he was. Or maybe people get older, things change, whatever. But
maybe he's less interested. Maybe he doesn't have that fight. Maybe he's been getting hurt in sparring. It could be any number of things.
We don't know, but I was shocked that it was just domination. The other thing I will say is Fernandez, his striking looked better than I thought it was going to look, but also the Brazilians as a whole have shifted their strike. Not all of them, but we're starting to see a lot of success with the Brazilians right now. We're seeing that with the trend of the Fighting Nerds guys versus the trend of the Lima shootbox de Lima
walk forward
Muay Thai stance kind of go, and they're getting beat by the karate guys. And of course, I think kind of in my head, Machida was the first karate guy, but he was so karate-ish. But then if you look at actually the Pitbull brothers and those guys for a while, they've been in that stance kind of ish for quite a bit. And then you get the Fighting Nerds coming along, and they're really kind of a blend of that Muay Thai, MMA.
They have great range. They have great hands. They have great movement.
And you're starting to see a lot of those guys get out of the way of punches instead of just taking them and giving them.
Well, this card's going to be a throwback because we have a Brazilian on this card, woman, that is old school shoot a box Muay Thai, and it's fun.
Before we even get into this card too, but we've got a couple other ones that were kind of wild. Jai Herbert, one of the most technical strikers you've ever seen, just staring at Fernandez, not doing anything. Padilla. Just doing nothing. And then the last minute of round one, Padilla just grabs him and holds him and wins a round. And then round two, he just grabs him and holds him and wins a round. And then round three, he starts putting it on. It's just, what a weird card. Seeing Leon just get submitted. I mean, that was just wild.
You gave Leon a lot more credit, and I said I think
gave
Brady's
Leon
different.
a lot more credit. The thing though is what Leon, I feel like he used to. We talk about this a lot. Waiting versus creating, and even if you're a counter puncher, waiting for something to happen, and then it doesn't go your way versus feinting or moving or creating it. And it really, right from the first 2 minutes of the fight, Sean was just throwing stuff and landing on Leon, because it just looked like Leon was just waiting for something.
The big punch,
And
the big opportunity, instead of touching.
moving. Yes, and anyway, it was just really shocking. I think there was a couple other fights on there too.
Nick Parkin surprised me a lot. I thought he won that fight pretty clearly. He was
Really?
minus 800 going into the final bell, and then Tybura gets it. Almost killed Tybura too. Those hammer fists from
Right.
out were something.
I didn't see that fight.
Molly McCann done.
Yeah, Molly's retired. It's kind of sad. Like,
She was fun.
she was fun. She's never going to be a world beater. She's never going to be a world champion. But I don't know if I respect. I kind of do and I kind of don't at a level where, not like I don't respect, but I just, some people are going to be champions and they have that champion trajectory. I don't know that Molly was ever in
Never.
that.
Well, she started fighting, but she has zero grappling at all.
Yeah. But then she's like, well, if I'm not going to be a champion, if I can't beat this girl in a couple days notice, I'm not going to be a champion, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes like the Chris Lytles, just fight for fighting. You win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one.
Jim Miller. He's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, he's not going to be a champion. He's just going to fight and do it, and it's fun.
Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
He only cares about making
He's
money.
another one. He's one that we were talking about. People shit on me for that, saying, man, I think Kevin can do well. It just depends on which one shows up, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not saying I'm clairvoyant or I told you so, because maybe the other Kevin version showed up. But if the right Kevin version showed up, he could beat Gunnar, and he did on that night. Gunnar could beat him the very next time because the wrong Kevin shows up. You just don't know. It's not like I was right and I told you guys. It was like, hey, like this is not the furthest thing that could happen right here. Yeah, just weird. All right. Anything else before we get into this week's?
Yeah, just a side note. Why do women not use electric toothbrushes? Does Kindle use an electric toothbrush?
No, but neither do I.
It's a very fascinating thing. I don't think I've ever met a single woman that uses an electric toothbrush.
My stepmom.
Does use one.
She uses one.
Yeah, but she's not American, so
She's
she
foreign.
doesn't count.
That's different. Yeah.
But she wasn't using one until she moved to America.
I know, but that's just like a weird transitional thing. She's trying to be American, doing things that she thinks is American, but really aren't American.
What is it? Why do women hate electrical toothbrushes? I don't get it.
I don't even know that they do or that they don't.
No, they refuse to use them. Like my ultimate sign of love is I always purchase an electric toothbrush for whoever I'm with. Never been used once.
You've never purchased me an electric toothbrush.
It's at home, baby.
Yeah,
Go
I
get it.
don't know.
Just food for thought. That's just food for thought.
All right.
Think about your wives and your girlfriends. Do any of them use an electric toothbrush? They should be, because it's better cleaning. It is.
All right.
I mean, 9 out of 10 dentists will recommend an electric toothbrush.
Sometimes even the 10th would.
All right, let's get into this week. I am dumber. I lost 6 brain cells.
It's just food for thought.
All right.
The food that's left over between your teeth from not using an electric toothbrush.
Fight number 1. We have Austin Hubbard plus 170 versus MarQuel Mederos minus 200.
Actually, one last thing about the card. This is at 7,300 elevation.
Light work. Okay. How high is Denver for reference?
50, well, Mile High City. So it's 5,200-ish feet,
I didn't
52,
know that,
5,300.
honestly. Okay.
So yeah, so they call it Mile High City because it's a mile high.
I knew that, but I just didn't know the feet for the mile.
Yeah, so somewhere between 52 and 5,300, depending on kind of where you're at. Mexico City, 7,300. I am curious, like I was trying to actually look last night as I was taping stuff to see, and I couldn't find it. I was trying to find, is there a difference between Denver's elevation and Mexico City elevation in the sense of like, if you live in Denver, is the 7,300, the 2,000 feet difference, is that going to be a thing or are you fine? And I really couldn't. That said, I saw closest thing to anything I could find was the 49ers when they played Arizona Cardinals this last year in Mexico City. They went and did a week in Denver before they flew out. And so they were kind of saying it was about, pretty much the same. So I don't know. I know that I was just there with KG a couple weeks ago, and I'm going back there this week, and that shit is real as it gets.
Oh my God.
So then I'm wondering how many of these fights matter in terms of like,
skill.
Yes.
Versus just not dying first.
Being better off the stool. And then you look at like Hubbard used to be a Denver guy. I believe he is back in Chicago at Valley Flow now.
Yep.
And And so then I look at that and I was looking at, it's hard to say, like, I was looking at his Instagram. I didn't see him there early. And so now it's where are you at with that? So
Did MarQuel go early?
no, but he lives in Denver.
No, he doesn't.
Doesn't he?
He trains at the respected MMA lab down the street.
Oh, he moved?
So maybe that's better than training in Denver, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, okay. So I thought he was up in Denver even up until his last fight.
Nope. For the last few fights, he's moved to the lab full time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I was looking at him and I didn't see him being over in Denver. So that said, neither of these people are at Elevation, train at Elevation. They're there now. What do you think?
Hubbard, like, we try to be really good to everybody and not really shit on people. It's not what I like and it's not what I'm about, because I know someday when I'm fighting, people are going to do the same exact thing to me. But Hubbard's footwork is a mess. The dude is all over the place. He's constantly off balance, falling over himself. He doesn't have a lot of power. He doesn't even have amazing volume. His pressure is just straightforward. He doesn't cut people off. He's just a body that's there. He's a warm body that's there. And getting knocked out by or losing to Holobah, losing to Vinc Pichel. These are guys that are in their 40s. These are old men. Now you're going to go beat Marquel Mederos, who honestly has gotten a lot better. I think a lot of his fights, he used to fight really close with people. And I think the reason was everything he wanted to do was some big step off counter right hand with all his power. And then whatever it was for the last fight, yes, he fought really close with Landon Quinones. Landon's got good hands. He's a good boxer. He's a tight boxer and very, very fast hands. And he's very much about touch you, then rip you. Hubbard's just kind of a mess, I think. I don't know what he's good at. He's not touching you constantly. He's not hurting you constantly. So where does he go? And the way I see MarQuel is his reflexes are too good. He's too good of an athlete. And his new style of just kind of touching the hands and putting the combinations together, but without full power, I think is going to give him plenty of gas, plenty of juice that he needs to do 15 minutes. So I like MarQuel by a lot in this one. What's weird is I think every round could be close, but I think decisively MarQuel will win every round.
See, I'm with you in a lot of that. I think every round is going to be very close. And the issue there is MarQuel is very hittable.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't, that chin is up.
We talked about this. He does all the Dwayne Bang stuff where he's switching and doing that stuff, but his head is still always centered.
He's always just getting hit right down the middle. And I don't know that Hubbard's going to hurt him, but he's going to score and he backs him up. And then now all of a sudden you just get backed up into the cage and Hubbard can hang on you. And MarQuel, he's not some amazing wrestler. He's
decent. He's athletic as hell.
Very athletic. But even we saw Quinones drag him down a few times. And if that can happen, then I think Hubbard could maybe drag him down or push him to the cage. My worry is that of course he's hittable, but then now we're at Elevation and MarQuel is athletic. And that's really the thing. It's like, well, how does he beat him? And so he's just more athletic. He's a better athlete.
At sea level, at the apex, this is great.
Yes. At Elevation, and I mean, Hubbard's going to fade from Elevation as well, but he's not some fast speed dynamic guy anyway. Whereas the speed and the athleticism, I think, is going to fade from MarQuel faster than it will Hubbard. Not even faster. It's just going to level out a little bit more, slow things down a little bit more.
You don't think the lab has any hand in this, any help?
Maybe they absolutely do.
It's crazy. I've never seen a cardio freak like Mario Batista in my entire life.
I know.
Sean O'Malley, I mean, that dude could throw 1,000 punches for 5 rounds. A lot of the guys that come from the lab seem to never, ever, ever get tired.
But the other thing too, and maybe I'm overthinking this a little bit, I really like Valley Flow.
Love them.
I think their guys are so good right now.
They're educated, great coaching. Bilal is a great team leader.
And I'm going to go with Hubbard with the upset. I'm going to go with Hubbard with the upset in Mexico City by probably a close decision, by probably, lose round 1, win round 2 and 3 type of stuff.
I think every round is going to be so close, but decisive each one.
Okay.
All right, next we have Jamall Emmers minus 350 versus Gabriel Miranda plus 285.
So I'm going to go on this first for 1, I guess my turn because you went first last time, but 2, because I didn't see the tape on this. Like, is this a last minute fight or what is going on?
I don't think
Because
so.
this just wasn't on the tape deck of stuff. And so I just didn't see it there. I know both these guys pretty well. The issue is that Miranda is the submission guy. If he can grab you, he can submit you. Other than that, he's god-awful, atrocious. Nice mustache.
He's got a. Are you saying me or him?
No, him. He has
Oh.
that little like curly mustache.
I was about to say thank you. I was into that.
To you too as well. But his striking is very clumsy and very uneducated. His takedowns are not great, but he'll shoot and pull guard and also shoot, kind of swing around to the back decently, which is kind of a weird jujitsu-y thing. We talk about it a little bit. We kind of do that, which I don't hate. Sometimes it's good. Emmers is really good, but will get submitted with dumb shit. You know what I mean?
It's a Sabatini who's another level, though.
So I think this is a clear Emmers
finish.
Finish. But again, man, we are I think even at elevation, Jamall has always had good cardio.
And he doesn't fight like an asshole either.
Yep, and he doesn't do dumb shit. He's sharp. He's educated. He's long. He knows how to fight well. As long as Miranda doesn't get something round one,
MarQuel is everything is a step off counter.
Miranda.
No, I'm saying
MarQuel.
MarQuel. Everything is that, and that's why he's going to tire. But Jamall is his game is really clean. It's
long just down the middle, clean. Long.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. I think he's probably got better, like pretty decent card. It's good. It's good
cardio.
Yeah.
No, I'm with a Jamall Emmers here.
All right, second round knockout. You got to let Miranda fire all his bullets, and then round two put the stamp.
I like it. Second round TKO, KO, something like that.
Cool. All right, next we have Rafa Garcia -500 versus Vinc Pichel +375.
So I'm going to start with this one as well because
that's your boy.
It's my boy. He has come to fight ready a little bit, but even separate from that, I would have probably talked about this. But I was in Mexico City with him, training with him all week, and kind of giving him my own ideas of breakdowns and of the fight and this and that. And so I would feel wrong talking to him and helping him and drilling with him.
And then choosing against him.
And then choosing against him. No, or even talking about it and stuff. So I don't feel comfortable on that. The only thing I want to say is I think Pichel, even though he's 100, he looks really good. And I thought he looked really good against Bonfim, considering it's Bonfim and he's old and Bonfim is young and all things considered. But the other thing too is I think a lot of this fight is contingent on can Rafa put him on his back and keep him there, because Pichel he's good everywhere and does stuff well. But we saw it in the Mark Madsen fight, where I cornered him and stuff. Was like in between round 2 and 3, I said, you take this fucking guy down right off the bell. I said, shoot to the leg, shoot a double leg, put him on the mat. And then that was the round. And Pichel would move and this and that, but try and get up, and he couldn't. So I think this fight is contingent on who can establish the wrestling dominance. Can Rafa get him down and do what he wants or not via Pichel? So that's kind of my thought on it. But
I think this is a crazy hard fight for Rafa. Crazy hard fight. Because the way that I'm looking at this, so one, I used to be the biggest Vinc Pichel hater in the world. I'm like, he's old, he sucks. And then he beat Jim Miller.
But he's always been old, and he's always looked the same, and he just has always done well.
He's just so good for
tough old son of a bitch.
So we used to train with a guy, Tyson Antillon, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And his dad is actually like best friends with Vinc Pichel.
Okay.
And like he would post videos of Vince like training in the.
Do we know his dad from anything? Would anybody know his dad from anything?
No, I know his dad because he was like recovered addict and stuff like that. And he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu now, trains in California. So he'd always just post Vince like in his garage, like doing stuff.
No.
Was there a joke that I missed?
No.
Was there a joke that I missed?
No.
Did I miss a joke?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just think this fight's really hard for Rafa. Again, we're at altitude. Rafa has a crazy, crazy motor on him. He really does. But now you add the altitude. I don't know that motor is going to be there.
Rafa's been there for a month.
I don't care. Doesn't matter. You could be there for 2 years. You still can't execute that game plan of 15 minutes of really hard wrestling at that altitude. It's just going to be really tough. One thing that Pichel does, he laces heel hooks to stand up. His get-up game is really nice, and he doesn't do it just by turning his back and standing. He off-balances you, and then he'll find his exit. A lot of times he'll off-balance you forward, and then he'll scoot out the back. He'll heel hook, lace it, stand up. He's very, very good at standing. Against Mark Madsen's different. You're talking about an Olympian, Olympic silver medalist. Now we have Rafa, who's really short. He is, right?
It's like 5'7".
He's really tall, actually. But for fighting that weight class, and the thing about Pichel is Pichel's just calm and patient all the time. The other thing too is I'm looking at Rafa. He's built so weird because he's got the widest body I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he's just like torso,
SpongeBob.
yeah, torso, and then all the extremities were just afterthoughts. God was just like, hey, we'll just toss this on there, I guess, like Miss Potato Head. And Pichel throws a million kicks to the body, a million front kicks to the body, always touching the body. And then he follows that with his big punches afterwards. So for me, I don't know that Rafa's going to get him down. If he does, I think Pichel has a really good chance to get back up. He always seems to find a way back up, except for Madsen last round. But man, then we're talking about a striking fight. And Rafa's striking is really, really good. But a lot of times what he has is a double jab and an overhand, where Pichel is swinging at you from everywhere. Body kicks, hooks, things over the top. Plus 375 on this fight to me is crazy. I like Pichel here.
Okay.
All right, next we have Julia Polastri plus 185 versus Lupita Godinez minus 220.
Where did we see Polastri? Who did she fight?
She's so damn fun. She beat the hell out of Corey McKenna.
That's the McKenna fight. Yes, the McKenna fight.
I think I'm in love with this woman.
Really?
Oh my God, I think I'm in love with her.
I love Loopy here.
Why?
Man, Polastri or whatever the hell her name is, she walks forward without like throwing it. It's just like she's here and just like moving and going. And Loopy, I mean, that guard and stance, and she is always ready to fire, and she's gonna get that takedown. And I don't think she's gonna get submitted off of her, from the guard or something like that. I like her to blast right hands as Polastri, whatever the hell her name is coming in and moving and waiting to fight. Hell, McKenna hit her a couple of times. Couldn't
tell. She never even made a face.
Yeah, but she actually did hit her. And if McKenna actually could punch, maybe something would have happened. But I like, honestly, I thought Loopy looked really good in that Dern fight. And honestly, man, Dern, watching her fight in that Loopy fight, rewatching that, I just have such respect for her of just zero fucks. Like that girl.
She's the most gangster of them all.
She is the most gangster fighter in the UFC. Like she just does not care and is just swinging and doesn't care if she gets hit. She's like, fuck you, I'm going and trying. The toughness of her is just great.
It's almost like ignorance is bliss. Like,
yeah,
she has no idea that she's not a good striker, but she doesn't care anyway. She's just going to do it.
Yeah. But watching even, I don't remember if it was round 2 or round 3. Dern got Loopy down and Loopy's pushing off, boom, gets back up and is fighting. Like I like Loopy. I think she's great. I think she has some holes with people who can out wrestle her significantly and put her on her back and engage in a grappling match. Cause we've talked about her.
Well, hold on. Out wrestle her significantly. You're talking about jiu-jitsu girls that are pulling her down. Jiu-jitsu girls.
Well, what do you mean, Dern?
She can't wrestle a lick.
Dern, well, the 2 takedowns she got, one was a head and arm throw, which only works in women, but that was weird. And the second one, she just shot in, locked her hands, lifted her up. Like it was just on the cage. And
so what I'm saying, Dern's critique for her entire career and until she retires has always been she cannot wrestle a lick.
Yeah, but that was just, hey, look, man, I don't care. That was a really good shot. When she shot, locked her hands, lifted her up.
I'm going to go to war for Petrossi right now.
Man, I'm on the other side of this. What are the odds on this again? What do we say?
Polastri is plus 185 and Godinez is minus 220.
Okay. I think that's probably a little far-fetched, but I like Loopy here.
Well, we just spent 6 hours talking about altitude and Loopy's style. First of all, Loopy's jacked. If you haven't seen her in person, she's like a little muscle hamster. She's crazy. You never seen?
I love a muscle hamster reference.
She got the great eyes. It's good. You're distracted here. You don't look at her fucking pythons. But we're just talking about the altitude. I think this is going to be an incredibly hard fight for her. Julia, is that her name?
Yes.
She doesn't fuck off. She does not.
Yeah, she won't fuck off.
Never. And even when you get her down, she doesn't fuck off there either. That's the whole point of getting a takedown is like, okay, I have a second to breathe. No, not with her. She's elbowing you. She's throwing up arm bars. She's just nasty everywhere she goes. She's making sure she's hurting you at all times. The other thing is Loopy's going to be on her back foot. She plays this game a lot. She's constantly on her back foot, skirting the cage, moving back and forth. And I almost wonder if, a lot of times people get frustrated betting Loopy because she doesn't wrestle when we know that she can.
Yeah.
And my thought process on that is that she probably knows that if she wrestles hard like that for 15 minutes, she's going to get tired. And I think that she reserves herself, or maybe she's injured, whatever it is, but she chooses not to proactively wrestle when she easily could and make her life a lot easier. Now you have a girl that's going to stay in her face. One, her clinch is nasty. You want to talk, she doesn't throw a lot of punches coming in, which sometimes is true. Sometimes she does throw. But when she gets a hold of you, she's hurting you every place she can. Elbows over the top, knees in the clinch. She is nasty in the clinch. And I think she's going to brutalize Loopy there. If Loopy does get her down, man, we're going to have to see 5 minutes of top control from her to win the round. And the issue with Loopy is she's her own worst enemy. Not that she can't wrestle, not that she couldn't execute this game plan, but we've talked about it many times before. She's going for arm bars when she has somebody's back. She's jumping off to go for it. And luckily she got it. But then she's playing heel hooks with Verna Jandiroba. Like, me to trust her grappling over
She's Brennan Allen.
That's a perfect example. All the skills, all the tools in the world. She's so talented. She really could be way higher up in the division if she just had an ounce of fight IQ. Versus Polastri, who knows? I got to stand up and I have to brutalize you in the clinch. She doesn't get tired. She continues to move forward. The optics already, you're starting off with good optics. She's pressing constantly. Always big shots, big elbows, big knees, big kicks. She just is nasty. I like this girl. I think she's going to win.
All right.
Next up, we have Melky Costa plus 130 versus our boy C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez, minus 150.
At what? I'm actually... They're finally starting to put a little bit of respect on C-Rod's name because he's a minus. He's a minus. He's always plus 500 against every up-and-comer they're trying to feed. And, man, nobody respects C-Rod. Let's go. Let's go with our boy C-Rod. Ride or die. He's been in Mexico City forever right now.
The dude's running 13 miles every Sunday in Mexico City every week.
Yeah. He's out there training, doing his thing. It was getting quite a bit of rounds with Lazy Boy. Which is just fun. I mean, I don't say that as a technical thing. It's just fun. Lazy Boy is just crazy. Yeah, he's been there for a while. I love C-Rod. Could he get guillotined like Rosa in that situation, kind of panicking? Yes, but I think that was he didn't respect the altitude. He was injured, and so he kind of panicked in a situation where he wasn't prime C-Rod.
Well, and that was the only fight. So I actually talked to him about it. That was the only fight too that we saw where he felt like he needed a knockout. Like, okay, I've gone through the fire. Yeah. It's my time to show out. And he went way too hard at the beginning, trying to put Rosa out.
And that's not his style. His style is sit, relax, and go. Build. He's not a go swing and kill somebody.
It was completely out of character.
Nope.
And it's weird because C-Rod has the best, worst cardio I've ever seen in my life. He is dead tired, exhausted after every fight, but somehow always pushes through and always outlast the other guys. It's unbelievable. So the altitude, do I think it could play a factor for him? Absolutely. But then he's fighting a guy in Melky who has one round.
Yeah.
That dude is just completely useless after a round. And is Melky going to out-grapple him? Maybe. He could.
Maybe. I don't know, man. If Bashi is not like, man.
Dulgarian.
Yeah, Dulgarian.
Well, Dulgarian did for a round.
Dulgarian did, and then he death gassed himself out.
Dulgarian's 10 times the wrestler that Melky could ever be. Now
and Bashi is a really good wrestler and grappler, and C-Rod was doing all the right stuff.
So you have a pure jiu-jitsu guy that's got a weak stand-up. I went back. If you guys want to do yourself a favor, this is one of my favorite fights ever. When C-Rod came to town, he didn't know who I was, and I just was like, hey, you're mine now, because I was such a big fan of him from the Charlampos Gregorio fight in CFFC. You were actually there for that with Casey Tanner.
Casey Tanner, yeah.
And just watching C-Rod, as calm as can be, and there's like 30% on each punch. He barely even put any power on every punch, and he just broke him down. Pop, pop, touch him, leg kick, touch him, leg kick, touch him, leg kick. And Gregorio was swinging on him with everything he had. Round 2 comes, that dude was out of options. He had nothing left to do. And then you see C-Rod starting to make reads, and then he's touching and then ripping the body and then following with a leg kick, jumping knees, elbows over the top. He is just... When C-Rod is at his full capacity, the dude makes insane reads. We've trained with him. Head kicks, where you don't even see them. He's a beautiful striker. People want to think he's just a counter.
He's also a really good grappler, too. People don't realize how good of a grappler he is.
But I think that's the issue these days is people think that his entire game is counter grappling.
Yeah.
They're like, the second he fights a striker, he's in trouble. I'm like, No, that's his thing.
Yeah.
He had to become a counter grappler by proxy because that was the only way for us to win.
I wouldn't be surprised to see C-Rod get a submission around 2 or 3.
Dude, so one, if we want to clear up the Rosa thing, I talked to him about that. He literally just said he panicked. He said it was tight, but it wasn't something that typically would finish him. He just panicked because he was exhausted.
Yeah.
He burnt himself out. We could see that.
And we've been there. I mean, I always use the analogy of like it's summer in Arizona and you're gi training and somebody's gi is over you and you're just suffocating. Get
off me.
Yeah, we've been there. And
It's
then
a
you go to
quick one.
altitude. And honestly, like up there in altitude, gosh, man, I was like rolling. I was rolling with Rafa and Juan Archuleta, and I was going with Rafa for quite a bit. And I mean, it's so funny. Like you'll be me anyway. And I'm not in great shape. I'm old. I don't train at the level that I used to or anything, but I would be fine. And I'd be going for 5, 10, 15 minutes, like whatever it is. I'm going and drilling and rolling and this and that, wrestling. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. Like it's not gradual. It is like,
Off a cliff.
I'm done here. And I remember I was like rolling and I was like, all right, I'm done. That's my round 1. Give me a break. And then Juan jumped on me and was like, nope, let's keep going, push through it. And I was panic, get off of me. No. And at that altitude, there is a suffocating factor about it. And you can't breathe and you panic. I get it.
You go to, even I've told this example before. I went to Colorado to go back to train with my uncle, who's a brown belt, and then his professor, who's a black belt. I hadn't seen them since I was a kid. So I was like, I got to go all out. I got to show them
Yep.
I'm the man now. So I went as hard as I could with my uncle, hard as I could with the black belt. I was so shocked. This was in Colorado that a white belt asked me to go after that. And I'm like, trying to not be I'm trying to be a man. And I went with him. This white belt destroyed me. It was so embarrassing.
I've been there. I lived in Flag for a year. It was 7,200 feet.
I think that C-Rod's going to get a knockout. I think he's going to finish this guy.
Okay.
I think he's got something to prove, and I think Melky's going to be useless after 3 minutes, let alone 5. I think this is C-Rod by far.
All right, moving along.
All right, next up we have Ateba Gautier -400 versus Jose Medina +300.
This is a really interesting one. I understand everybody's play on this one, so maybe you're going to say...
What's the play? I'm curious about the play.
Everyone wants to go Medina because they're saying, oh, Gautier is just so jacked and he's so huge and hung that he's going to fade out, of course. And it's very possible. Very possible. That dude is built like a shit brick house. I kind of played the same angle on a BYB fight last weekend where you have this tall guy, he's a little bit muscular versus this little short fatty. The issue was the fatty got really tired too.
Yeah.
And my issue with this fight, Gautier's, he's tough, man. He cracks. He can hurt people.
He's athletic. He's got a sprawl. That dude is.
I bet the Japanese guy that he fought on Contender Series, I thought that guy was gonna counterpunch him, wait till he gets tired, pick him apart. That's not how that happened.
Yeah.
He got a takedown round 1 off a caught kick or something like that. Round 2, he tried taking him down, and he might as well be taking down a brick wall. That guy was so physical and so strong. Good luck. I guess I can understand where everyone's going. The logic, okay, he beats the hell out of Medina, who's super durable and super tough round 1. Round 2 comes, it's Medina time. But the issue is Medina has 0 offense. There's nothing there. I think Gautier could stand there, dead tired, and just fire one jab, and that's going to keep Medina in a cycle. He's going to have to do his whole bouncing around thing, doing all the stuff, and then throw some random punches. He doesn't have much offense. As much as I would love to, because that's a juicy number. What is he, +300 something?
He's minus. Yeah. Medina's +300. Gautier is -400.
As much as I would love that, it's just hard for me to see. He has no firepower. He has nothing to push him to actually get this win. Honestly, I think the weird sharp play would be Gautier by decision. If Medina is as durable as we think that he is.
Okay. I don't know if I'm just thinking about the decision thing.
He gets tired and he slows down and they just stare at each other.
They just kind of decide. Yeah. I was with you on the Medina Gautier, the whole, man, Medina's tough. What if he does this? And what if the whole bit? But then I'm thinking, well, that's Zachary Reese, who is very fine. But that's a guy who's submitting people from his back and getting dropped and coming back from the depths. That's not Gautier, who's murdering people. These are two different strikers.
And Reese hurt him like 10 different times.
Yeah.
All to the body.
Yeah. And Reese was grappling a lot in that fight. I mean, there was a lot. Reese is a very different fighter than Gautier. And
this is one of the easier names on the card.
Yeah, Gautier.
Yeah, Gautier.
But the thing is, man, with the knockout of the Japanese guy on Contender, he hit that dude and he just like turned sideways. I mean, it was not like, it wasn't like he hit him and he fell. It was like, fuck your existence. And I mean, everything, like the whole world turned upside down.
Blow.
Oh my gosh. Like everything flipped. Like the worlds were upside down. The poles.
What do you think that kid's
switched.
doing now? What do you think he's up to?
But the thing Gautier does is he knows what he's good at. He actually sprawls instead of like re-wrestles people and floats. Like he's not arrogant to think that he should be engaging in the grappling. But one thing, he threw that knee and got taken down and didn't panic, stayed on his back, like breathed, inched his way back eventually and got back up, and didn't go full asshat in that entire exchange. And he really could have like got taken down, panicked, like exploded, expended a lot of energy, or turned and given up his back or something. He could have done a lot of things and he didn't. And he was just like, I'm good, take my time and go. Again, elevation is elevation. But I think I wouldn't be surprised to actually see Medina get the finish, or Gautier get the finish on Medina, because I think we're overstating Medina's toughness against Zachary Reese, who's just very different from Gautier.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
That guy has no firepower, no offense. If he had anything, even a nice jab or a good low kick, I'd be making a good case for him.
Yeah.
But he's going to get hurt a lot of times. He's going to have to go through hell. And then when he does and Gautier's tired, what's he going to do to him then?
Yeah.
Maybe he takes him down. That's the only thing I could see, is maybe he gets a tired Gautier down. But that dude has pretty good reflexes and pretty good idea of what he's doing, at least to defend.
Yeah. I like it. I'm in.
Cool. Next, we have Edgar Chairez at -280 versus Carlos Vergara +240.
Think this is me.
Is it?
Yeah. I wanted to love CJ here because I'm thinking the same thing. Chairez, always a gas can. He gets so tired, especially the fight with Clayton Carpenter. He was just dead tired, exhausted. And then I'm just kind of looking at this. CJ is going to have to go through hell. CJ is going to have to go through hell to even have a chance. And I think the only thing you could really hope and pray for is that CJ gets hurt, shoots a takedown, and then Chairez jumps for a guillotine, and then CJ ends up on top the whole time. That's literally the only way I can see this going for CJ, because Chairez is getting a lot better. Before, his striking was like, he had an okay couple of strikes, but overall it wasn't great. I mean, now we're having a guy that's hurting Josh Van. You know, Clayton Carpenter's looked really good. He had Clayton on some wobbly legs. Like he went, competitive moments with Tyra against CJ, who is fine and tough and durable, but man, he is cannon fodder for everybody. The good thing about a lot of these fights is that we're going to be able to tell live where to go and what to do.
Who's getting tired, like where the line is going.
Yes.
You're going to see it before the line's correct. You're going to see, oh, he didn't stop that takedown. Like round one, somebody shoots, other person defends. All right, they go to their guard. And you see that happen, like slam the freaking line and go.
Maybe.
I just mean you're going to see it ahead of time. You're going to see it.
Yeah, the trend.
You're going to see the trend way before the lines are able to correct and match on stuff.
Maybe
like
I don't have an interest in playing Chairez at this number or this line, whatever it is. Maybe we can look at some props, but I definitely don't have an interest in playing CJ ahead of time.
Yeah.
CJ, I think, is a good play, maybe round 2, round 3, but Chairez went on a crazy pace with Josh Van, crazy striking pace. And I don't know that CJ's wrestling is that good that he can enter in that danger zone, because Chairez is throwing knees. His calf kicks are crazy.
I don't even know if it's his wrestling that we're talking about, or if just his willingness to wrestle. Like, does he start wrestling only because he got hurt, or only because he's beat up, or because the striking's not working, versus like going out there and going, I'm going to put Chairez on his back? Because the way to beat Chairez is put him on his back.
Have to.
Like, you have to put him on his back. And that's how Josh Van beat him, because he was beating Josh Van up. I don't want to say beating him up.
Van was hurting him a lot too.
He was. but later and with the body shots and ripping them. But
That
even
was one
then,
of the best fights I've ever seen.
that
in
was
my life.
awesome.
We
But
were there, and then watching it back on TV was way better.
yeah.
Way better.
But even then, even he's ripping body, and then going double leg and putting him on his. The easiest path to victory for Van was putting Chairez on his back.
He only did that because he got hurt.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's what I'm saying is now you have Chairez who's long, who throws long, who, yeah, I mean, the thing with CJ is he does everything well. And I like CJ. I've been on the CJ wagon a lot.
You're the one that defends his honor.
I defend CJ.
We need to have him on the show.
Yeah, we do. And I really like him, and I think he's really good, and I think he's really tough. The issue is that he always loses the first 7 minutes, and then when people tire themselves out, he wins the second round after they tire, and then the third round as he starts putting it on. Just with Chairez, I don't see that cardio. I don't see that factor happening here.
Chairez gets really tired if you grapple him.
Yeah, and again, does CJ do that, and can CJ do that? So
Who knows?
no, I'm with you. I like Chairez. I think I probably like a decision, but I wouldn't even be shocked to see a TKO-ish in there somewhere.
God, I think he's going to hurt that leg. He's got a nice calf kick. He's going to hurt that leg of CJ because CJ is really heavy on it because he plods forward every time.
Yeah, I like Chairez here. And I didn't think I would. I was thinking that CJ, here's the dog. This is...
All right, next we have Ronaldo Rodriguez minus 160 versus Kevin Borjas plus 140.
I don't know Ronaldo Rodriguez. Say it right.
Say the name.
Say his name. Say his name.
Lazy Boy.
Okay.
So we got
So-
Lazy Boy
Lazy
minus
Boy.
160.
We have Lazy Boy. And then who the hell is he fighting?
Borjas.
Oh, yes.
What was this the sprawl story?
I forgot about that.
We got some new listeners. You want to just run
Oh
through it
my
really
gosh. He was a contender, right? He's
Yeah.
fighting Victor
Diaz.
Diaz. And he's in the back and he's warming up and he's just sitting there. And like all of his warm-ups are like movement, karate kick, karate, nothing. Like nothing MMA related at all. And I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on here? And then they call him out. They're like, hey, it's time to go. And they're like, it's time to go. Let's go. Let's go. And he just stops and he just does like 10 sprawls. He's like, shh, sprawl. And they're like, let's go. We've got to go. You are up. And he just ignores them. Sprawl. And then just gets up and goes out there. And we're like, this dude's about to get murdered. Like, what the hell just happened? Like, what just happened right here? I was as confused then as I was when you started pouring ice and water into a
Honestly, it was the same
bowl
effect.
today. It was the same effect.
We both
It
got
was just
dopamine
shocked.
one way or another.
And then of course he goes out and wins and whatever. It's funny. So I was watching the Lazy Boy fight with Odie, and he looked good in that fight.
Really, you think so?
Well, I think he looked better. The Odie just like gassed and stuff versus the Dennis Bonder before that. Bonder landed everything that he threw and took him down every time he wanted to. And then just somehow, I mean, he was like in control of that whole fight. And then somehow like looked up at the, like the clock or something of mid fight and was like, oh, I'm fighting right now. Take my back and choke me out. It was the weirdest thing ever.
Well, that sounds like both fights that he's had in the UFC now.
Yeah, but but the Bonder one was even more like shocking to me. It was just so like one-dimensional everything, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then you have Borjas, who's not great, but he's not
Kid's good.
like. When I say not great, I don't mean like he's not a world beater anywhere. He's not like some.
He has very limited weapons, but the weapons he has, he uses well.
And he's tough and he fires stuff and he's a lot of volume and he doesn't panic and he's not going to gas himself out like we saw Bonder and then Odie Osborne, and he's calm. And if he does get taken down, he's calm. And I don't even know that he will get taken down because that's not really Lazy Boy's thing. And Lazy Boy like runs into punches. I really like Borjas here for the upset just by Lazy Boy being arrogant and just trying to swing and go, like putting himself into the punches. So I like Borjas here.
Yeah, I was actually kind of like defending Lazy Boy early. I'm like, no, the UFC really likes him.
Yeah.
They really want to push him, the Mexican kid, all this stuff. And then I had to go back and watch the film. Honestly, I don't blame him for getting rocked by O'Day. O'Day is fast and dynamic.
Yes.
Holy shit, he's fast.
But that head got whipped back by Bonder every time Bonder threw his straight.
Well, the dude never moves his head.
Yeah.
And they even made stuff about it on the broadcast. The one thing he is once he does get on a leg, his grappling is solid from the top.
Mhm.
His wrestling isn't great, but he does find his
transitions
his
almost.
transitions,
Like,
yeah. Shit, this is tough because I watched a video of Lazy Boy hitting mitts one time, and I thought, wow, this kid is amazing. Like,
I saw him at the PI, and I was shocked. He looked great.
he looks
looked great.
insanely good on the mitts.
Uh-huh.
And then when he fights,
Well, here's the thing. People would always say, and I've never seen this, I've just heard the stories, that Leonard Garcia. Do you remember Leonard Garcia?
of course,
That he was supposed to be super technical in the gym and on the mitts and was amazing. And you see him fight, and he's just like hands down, swing, swing, swing. And I was like, no way. And I've heard that by like 100 billion people. And literally, that's the truth. That not hyperbole. And so I mean, you just wonder, like, some
Lazy
people
Boy
just,
looks like an actual boxer on the mitts.
yes. And then you see people fighting, and they just the adrenaline goes. But I think that adrenaline's not going to be great for him in Mexico City. I think it's going to be the opposite. Like, he wants to show he's there and his
My
people.
spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to bite him in the ass on this against a kid. Is Borjas still in Peru or wherever he was?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't remember, because he's never had cardio issues. He's always been,
That Peru spirit never leaves you.
it never leaves.
Yeah, I think he's
I
going to
believe
pick Lazy
there's,
Boy apart.
don't quote me on this. I'm actually, if somebody wants to comment on this, I wouldn't be mad. I think it's a soccer stadium. There's an international, soccer, I don't know if stadium, field, whatever that people play at. And I believe the highest elevated one in the world is in Peru. And you just see people just like dying there. Like, it's stories of it.
That's where his MMA gym is.
Yes. I'm almost certain it's like that mountainous region of Peru where they have this thing. So
I just made that. I don't know where his gym is.
no, but I think I thought he was a Peru guy.
It's Osetia. That's where his gym
Fuck
is. You love to say Osetia. You
Give
try
me
to
a
mix that in
reason to
anytime you
say
can.
Oh, Osetia. It's right below the
Peru.
Peruvian soccer stadium, which is the highest in the world where the gods live.
They have these inbred retards.
Yeah.
They're just a little brown skin. Osetia.
All right, where are we at?
We're
You're
both on Borjas.
both on Borjas. Next, people moving along.
All right, next we have David Martinez minus 400 versus Simon Oliveira plus 300.
Did I get to go with him? I think I went with him once.
I don't know. You want to know what's funny is he was at Fight Ready. Him and like his whole contingency, like 5 guys from Mexico just showed up one day and they trained for like a month or 2. I don't know where they came from and where they left to. And they were all very nice.
One of them
they're
had just knocked out our other teammate right before that and then came and trained
Oh
with
my
us.
gosh. Jeez.
Hilarious.
That
Well,
was
not that funny.
Man. Yeah. Anyway, David was good. He was actually very good. I was shocked when he was going with the guys, like some of the better guys at Fight Ready, the 35ers, and he did well and does a lot of the right stuff. In his fights, he's so jittery and bouncy and like
He wasn't like that sparring the rounds?
no, he wasn't like that sparring. Not to that extent. Maybe he was, but I don't remember him watching him in his contender fight. His just jitteriness and not even his lateral movement. So he moves well laterally and that's great. But even just standing there in stance, he's just like just shaking. He's just so ready. Like he's just like right. I mean, it was almost like it was just a lot. And so what I wonder with is can Saimon like somehow like drag him down?
No.
Because we saw Martinez do it, and I don't think he can, but just we saw it, and I think it was the 3rd round, him getting taken down and doing stuff. And I don't really wonder if he gets him taken down, but what I wonder if he drags him down and on the come up, he jumps on that neck, because we know that Saimon is that guillotine guy, and I don't think it happens. That's just if Saimon wins, I think that's how
This
the
dude
fight
is the
occurs.
worst ever. He's the worst ever. Come on.
He's got a good guillotine. But I
Not
think
even. He's the worst ever. Don't even give him credit.
nah, but I think Martinez can defensively wrestle really well for the first half of a fight. And I think that's all he needs against Saimon. I think after that, Simon's going to be pulling guard and falling if he doesn't get TKO'd.
Well, how long has it been since this dude has fought?
It had to have been
2-3 years.
Yeah, who did he fight last? It wasn't Gravely. He lost a decision to
Fought Daniel Marcos
and
in
then
January
Daniel Marcos.
23.
Yeah. The thing was, Marcos beat him by decision, though, right? No, he bodied him up.
He need
him to the body.
And then Gravely, he took a year off in between those.
Yeah.
Literally, almost exactly a year to
Yeah.
the date between.
I think
those.
Martinez wins this. I just like the thing. I guess my worry with Martinez is he's not a power puncher. He's not this submission guy. He's just he's
just
very
a crazy
raw.
vato.
He's just very raw. And so I'm like, gosh, is he going to do something stupid and fall into stuff? I don't think he does. I just think he's got to tighten it up and clean it up a bit before I'm like, all right, I'm comfortable saying Martinez is good. Right now, it's like, he is good, but he needs a little work.
I think if the UFC is not telling you who they like here, then, Saimon is, come on. He's had one, but honestly, though, maybe that's the worst thing. He's had one fight in 3 years. Maybe he comes out on the special sups and he looks world class. But just from what we've seen on tape,
with USADA being gone, shit gets weird.
Shit gets weird. But from what we've seen, there's no way. There's no chance.
Yeah.
All right, next we have Raul Rosas Jr. minus 350 versus Vince Morales plus 285.
Is there any way that there's an upset here?
Of course.
You think so? Okay.
Well, we have a lot of knowledge of this because I've done 2 camps as the Rosas mimic.
Yep.
I helped for AQ and then I helped for C-Rod back in the day.
And then Hunter fought Vince.
Yep.
All right, so here's the thing. Again, I was looking at the Mexico City, when are people going and not, and Morales is not in Mexico City. He stayed home, and Rosas has been in Mexico City for like 4, 5, 6 weeks. And the thing that people always bank on is Rosas death gassing, but I think that was just early youngness, and I don't think he's going to do that anymore. And then now you've got a guy who's 36 who has not been at elevation. That really, man, if Morales had been at elevation for the last 5 weeks, I would say, dude, let's rock with an upset here. Morales' striking is okay. It's not amazing, but it's fine. And he's got a good enough chin and good enough movement to not get hurt a ton. We've seen him in the UFC a lot, but he can actually grapple. He is actually a really good grappler. He's actually a good wrestler. He's a good grappler. Like, he really is good. The issue is I just worry about that cardio because he hasn't been there.
You worry about his cardio more than Raul's cardio?
1,000%.
Interesting.
Only because it's at elevation, because it's there. And I don't think you're giving it enough credit. Like, I really don't.
I know, but Vince has shown way better cardio than Raul in every single fight. They say with the altitude, so I don't know, maybe you can correct me. They say that there's a certain point where it stops mattering. So it's after 3 weeks or something in whatever set altitude that it now makes no difference. It just is what it is because your red blood cells can only acclimate so much to whatever this is that's it. That's the limit. And as soon as you leave, then it only matters for like 6 days or something like that. That's your bonus or whatever it is. So,
but it's not only red blood cell production. It's actually your body has to adapt to the pressure and the air pressure and all of that. And so it's even at a cellular level, that's not oxygen being transported. It's a cellular level. The pressure is different, the altitude. There's a lot more that goes into it versus just red blood cells.
Well, then let's talk about how they fight too, because that's very important. How you were saying with Lazy Boy, how he's like proud Mexican, he's ready to bang. Look at Rosas. That kid fights so stupidly. Every time he goes out there, he fights so stupidly. With the dude, that black kid from Alaska, listen, that guy was the biggest can in the world. Of course, he's going to come out and try to go crazy. But he doesn't get that knockout. He just sold out his gas tank in 30 seconds.
Well, and with AQ, his last fight, AQ is one takedown defense away from winning.
And is it because he's tired, or is it because he's disinterested, or he doesn't understand the flow of the fight?
Yeah.
We don't know. But I honestly, I think that kid goes way too hard, way too fast, and he gets caught up and gets really, really tired. And kind of what we talked about, maybe if it's not even cardiovascular endurance, but more muscular
adrenaline endurance. Yes. And no, I'm with you. Like I wanted to jump on.
Vince is at least calm.
I want to jump on the Vince upset wagon. Just him not going there early is insane. Because again, like I lived in Flagstaff for a year, which is 7,200 elevation. So it's very similar to Mexico City. And it was unreal. Like I was in such good shape. Gosh, when I went up there to grad school, I was probably 30, 31. So I was not old like I am now. I was younger old. But I was
30's pretty old.
pretty old.
I just look straight ahead.
I was in good shape and I was running, I was training, and I was still on it. And I would go to Flagstaff like you. And I mean, there was white belts where I was like, I might die right now. My entire body is on fire. How much time do we have left?
You have the one
clock?
white belt that sits out every round and then sees you tired.
my
Like, hey, you
gosh.
ready?
I can't, just the elevation. Maybe I am overstating the elevation. It really is insane to me that Vince didn't go there early. Again, if they were both at elevation or if they both weren't, I'm going Vince Morales. I really like him for the upset. And I don't think it's a bad bet for the upset. And if there is an upset, if he does actually gas, I actually think it's Morales by submission. Because
he's tricky on the neck.
Yes.
That little thing he hit on Hunter was, I hate to say that because I love Hunter, but that was a crazy submission.
Well, the other thing though too is if you look at his 2 or 3 fights before that, he was darsing everybody. So I actually knew to watch out for the darce, and we trained for the darce. And I've said this probably on the podcast before. When Hunter and him were scrambling below, and Hunter was building his way up, they were kind of in our corner. And I said, "Watch the darce. He wants the darce." And he actually looked at me and goes, "Like, no, like, hey, don't tell him my secret." And then he kept building up, which I actually like. He's just, kind of friendly, talking shit, having fun in there. And then he jumped Peruvian and stuff. But he's a really good grappler. So but he's a little older.
There's not any reason to play him before the fight.
No, there's not. Could he absolutely get the upset? Like, I'm on it. I'm with it. I'm like, play it live, see how it looks.
You're going to get plus 700 on Vince
Yes.
Morales about 1 minute into the second round.
Yep. And then slam it. Like on a just brain for brain, I've got to go Raul. But man, I don't hate Vince, and I want to go with Vince, and I want to scream from the rooftops. I just wish he had gone to elevation early.
I'll still go Vince just to be a little different. For me, most of these fights are just going to be about live betting. I think to have any pre-action is going to be really, really tough on this card.
All right, next, I don't think there's going to be much to say about this fight. We have our boy Kelvin Gastelum plus 240 versus Joe Pyfer at minus 300.
Oh, there's going to be a lot to be said about this one. I was just there last week in an Airbnb, and there's a bunch of us there. Pat Downey was there, who's funny as shit, saying a bunch of stuff, offending people. Kelvin brought his French bulldog.
Okay.
And
is he fixed or not fixed? He got big old balls or no?
I don't know. I didn't notice big old balls everywhere, so maybe he's fixed. I don't know. They weren't.
Was this pertinent to the story?
The balls or
Yeah.
not? No, you're the one that brought up the balls.
I'm just asking. I didn't know if it was going to work its way in.
No, but I had to keep my room shut the whole time because he was peeing everywhere.
Not fixed. He's marking his territory. He's trying to big dog you.
Dude, he pissed all over the bathroom. So there's a couple bathrooms in the downstairs area. One that the doors stay shut all the time, but where the shower was, he would piss all over the shower mat and all over the little mat that's just between the shower and the toilet. And it would just reek so badly. I wouldn't even go in there. I didn't shower at that Airbnb one time in a week. I would only shower at the PI. And so I would and they're ready to leave and they have Ubers coming. I'm like, hold on, I'm not leaving until I shower. So I would shower. But if you left your stuff out in the common area, he would fucking piss on it. So I had to keep it in my room and shut the door because he's like, that's my shirt now, bitch. And you just piss on it and just look at you and you're like, damn, this motherfucker's he's like, what? I'm KG's. And you're just like, I'm going to kill you.
See, little did I know this
you.
actually had the whole thing to do with the story. He's trying to big dog you.
And the little dog's trying to big dog.
How much this thing weighs? Is it like a little cannonball?
A little cannonball, just a fucking ball of muscle.
I hate these little fuckers because I do sales for a living. I go to people's houses. Every time I see one, they run up to me and tackle, try to chop my knees out.
And the other thing is, I don't like animals. You guys know that I am not an animal lover. I don't like dogs.
You have 9 rabbits. What are you talking
about? I don't like cats. I have a rabbit, and that is it. And this little thing loved me and I'd sit on the couch and the little fucker would just jump up and just right next to me, just lie. And I was like, right off. And Kelvin could I was trying as much as I could to be nice because I'm not like I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'd be like, I'd just like push him down like away. And he'd be like, oh, his name is Achilles. He'd be like, Achilles, come on, leave him alone. Achilles. And he would keep trying to like get him away from me because he knew we weren't vibing. And I was like, man, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you. And Kelvin was trying to keep him away from me, and I was trying to keep him away from me. Everyone was trying to keep him away from me, but Achilles tried to keep him near me. That fucking dog.
The dogs can always sense the ones that don't like them.
And he knew it, and he was just all over me. And I was like, fucking hold up, man. Pissed all over everything. I had to keep my door shut. Anyway, that's what we're.
You just got to tell them, hey, look, it's Mexico. Yeah. You're kind. They don't make it far around here.
Yeah, that's. Other than that, Piper's a big old white dude. He's a big white guy.
He's a big white guy.
All right. Are we on main event time?
Almost. Co-main.
Co-main.
In the co-main, we have Manuel Torres minus 130 versus Drew Dober plus 110.
Here's another one. Like before watching film, I look at the records and stuff, and I'm like, man, Dober's getting old, and he's not what he once was, and he got fucking brutalized by Gene Silva, and like kind of murdered him.
No, he did not. That was a close fight.
Yeah, shut up, whore. And he, all of these things. And then I rewatched that Gene Silva fight, and like he lost, and Gene Silva did really well.
Great fight though.
Great fight, but his chin held up, and he was good. It was just the cut.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was winning that fight, but
it was close though. It was competitive.
It was a close competitive fight, and his chin held up, and he was good. It was a cut that was like So there's that, and then we were talking about Lazy Boy and somebody else earlier. Talk about somebody who wants to get punched in the face. Manny Torres is like, please hit me on my way in. Like he just is in, that chin is out and he invites it. And I like him. I like him. I thought beautiful performance against Chris Duncan, who just looked great in this last fight. At one point he just shoves Duncan to the ground when he was trying to take him down. Then he ends up taking his back and choking him out. It's just like, damn, like how did that happen? Bahamonde is a different animal. He's so long and tall, and it's hard. But man, Torres does like to get hit, and when he does get hit, he gets wobbled a little bit. Duncan
almost
hurt him.
every time.
Bahamonde's hurt him, and then I'm sitting there thinking with that left middle kick. He lives at altitude in Denver, so I don't think it'll be that big of a difference or anything.
And always shown pretty good cardio for every.
Always shown good cardio. Always hits hard, and his chin is there. Man, give me some Dober all day. What are the odds on that?
Dober is plus 110.
Okay.
Can't fathom that to me.
I can't fathom it. Like slam it before he goes anything lower. I love Dober on that.
To me, I've always known Manuel Torres is a I don't want to say fraud. I mean, he's a powerful guy, probably hits hard, all that stuff, but man, I don't think he's on a UFC level. He's like, to me, a regional guy that's really explosive and dynamic for a round. You have a guy that has great cardio, great chin, hits hard, always game to fight in Dober. Like, to me, this is a no-brainer.
And am I crazy, or was Manuel Torres one fight removed from a solid right way on a robbery against who's the guy Canadian guy with the beard?
I don't think you're right on this one.
No?
Let me pull it up.
Who do we have right here?
Doesn't he have like all finishes? I'm pretty sure.
No, I thought he won a fight by decision. Maybe I'm insane.
Yeah, you're insane. So he beat Colton England on Contender Series by strikes, right hooked Frank Camacho, elbowed Nicholas Mata.
Okay. Yep. No, you're right. I was thinking anyway.
He's all finishes, and that's the thing is he can't be extended. So honestly, the only way I see him beating Dober, because Dober showed pretty bad vulnerability to this in the Moicano fight, he's got to take him down, and he's got to do that. But now you have this guy who, we were talking about MarQuel earlier. Manny Torres doesn't have an ounce of fat on his body. That dude is all fast twitch muscle. He's got no slow twitch, nothing at all. So if he doesn't win by submission in the first 3 minutes, round 2 starts. What's he gonna do? Like he is in some trouble. And Dober's really short, got a short center of gravity, small center of gravity. I think it's gonna be tough for Manny, who doesn't have an extensive wrestling background. Maybe I'm getting oversold on this one, like I did a lot of picks last week. But man, I really like Dober here.
Yeah, me too.
All right, main event time. In the main event, we have Brandon Moreno minus 200 versus Steve Erceg plus 170.
Hey, before we do this, sign up to the Discord. $25 a month. Bets on bets.
Ooh, killed it last week on all bare knuckle
yeah.
stuff. So I posted BYB, which is like the offshoot promotion. Crushed it on that. Crushed it on BKFC Philly. Some nice underdogs. Some really like.
And most of I would say the better money is made on the smaller shows.
Yeah,
the UFC used to be a lot easier, but the lines have changed and the betting and the fighters, and I feel like even a year ago it was a lot easier to predict a lot of these. Whereas now it seems like the regional and BKFC and BYB are a lot easier.
So this week, you guys, we have two BKFC events. We have one on Thursday this week, and then we have one on Saturday this week. So two BKFCs. We have UFC. We have a million things. Go sign up. Awesome community. Awesome picks. Really smart people beyond me. Sometimes, you could fade me too. It is what it is. But
it's go to Patreon. It's patreon.com/MMA breakdowns and bets. It's kind of long. Should have shortened that.
I get that a lot. All right.
Main event time. Let's go. Let's hear your thought.
This is a really competitive fight. What is the odds on this one?
Brandon Moreno is minus 200. Steve Erceg is plus 170.
Yeah, I mean, the odds on that are pretty wide for my liking because I see this as a very competitive 50-50 fight.
Yeah.
I think ultimately what this is going to come down to is Erceg is amazing. Like, really, really talented guy. I think the volume and the pressure of Moreno is going to get to him. And then I think that Erceg has that purple belt jiu-jitsu. Everything he does is flash and flare and lots of energy and lots of movement and lots of this, where Moreno is really solid, and Moreno will float the top. Moreno will re-wrestle you 100 times. I think rounds 1 and 2, insanely competitive, insanely back and forth. I think Erceg's going to have big moments. Moreno's going to have big moments. I think rounds 3, 4, 5, the blueprint's already been laid out about how to beat Erceg. And now Erceg's coming off, a knockout to Kai Kara, right? He got knocked out. And then, getting just blanketed by Pantoja. I think Moreno moves really, really well and probably even a better style against Erceg because Pantoja is very, very tight, very hold you. Moreno will float, transition, float again, transition. I ultimately think that Moreno and the cardio and the elevation and just the style is going to win out, but I see this as a very close competitive fight.
Okay. For what it's worth, when I was up there a couple weeks ago, Erceg was up there as well. He was already up there. The thing, Erceg just gets hurt in every fight. Every fight that I think we've seen him in the UFC, he's gotten wobbled. Remember that Costa fight where just boom, he was.
Oh, that's right. The Costa has midget arms. I mean, you just got to avoid that.
In Moreno, he looks so weird. But he's effective, and I think he's getting better. I think boxing is helping him a lot. Like actually boxing, a boxing gym with Capitello. And I think he looks good. And I think the thing though that Brandon kind of did is like we watched him with Amir, who fought him last, right? Was that Moreno's last fight? I know it was Amir's last fight, but he just stayed calm and just stayed away. Actually, he didn't press, and he was like, he knew that Amir wanted to get inside of him. Inside. Whoa, mucho, take it easy. And he was really calm, and he knew when to turn it on. He knew when to pull back. He had good training partners down there with him, the whole time. Danger was down there with him. I saw Danger. I actually sent, I think, Gabe a video with Danger, right? While we were down there showing some moves for my son, who was wrestling. I was trying to show him. I was like, Danger, let me grab you really quickly. Who's actually fighting again in the UFC. Has that been released? Do we know?
Yeah, I think he said one last ride. Who is he fighting?
Jimmy Flick.
That's right. Yeah. It's already been talked about.
Okay. So that makes me happy. Danger's a solid dude. Sounds like Gambit. But Moreno does all of this stuff well. And Erceg does as well. He's actually very good. The issue with Erceg in this fight is skill for skill. Moreno does everything well. Erceg does everything well. This is it. And it comes down to experience. One, we haven't seen Moreno get hurt, I feel like, as much as we've seen Erceg get hurt. Moreno also doesn't have that, like, fuck you, Kai Kara France power and blitzing you. And the other thing, too, is I thought that stoppage, I don't think it was necessarily a bad stoppage, but I thought it was a little early on that stoppage, too, against Erceg. But we have seen him get hurt time and time again. The issue is I don't know if Erceg knows how he's going to win yet, like 100%. Like,
well, what's he going to do to Moreno?
Well, that's the thing is, like, his coaching was a little off on the last one with him shooting and going. And I think that's going to be a big learning experience for both the coaches. Look, man, like coaches, everyone wants to hate on coaches, but it's like, well, everyone has to be their first time, you know, at some point. You know, I've fucked up in a coaching career. You know, we've done it. So you learn from it and the next time you're better. But it's the durability of Erceg. It's the experience of Moreno. And I think Moreno, I think Pantoja is just a weird style for Erceg. So it was
Style for everyone.
But I think what Erceg is good at, Moreno is good at. And I think it's just going to be a hard, like, if he's going to beat Moreno, he has got to go through the fire and just swing, and he's got to make it a dogfight. And I'm not sure that is going to be his style because he's on the outside trying to pick it apart in Mexico City against Moreno.
He's almost too smart for his own good.
Yep. I think that's it. So I think I like Moreno by decision here.
All right. That's another potty dotty.
That is what we call a potty dotty.
Holy shit, I'm so tired now. I think this actually had the counter effect.
That adrenaline's you out. You were invigorated, and then the
now
adrenaline.
I'm crashing out,
dumped.
ready for a nap.
That's it. Now you're a little sleepy boy.
Damn you, Ashton.
And we're out.